One. We're live.
Welcome, everybody, to This Is Difficult, the podcast, known far and wide for having little bits of information that may or may not be true whatsoever. And we talk about playing video games. It's like, wow, this is the most interesting podcast. Sorry, I don't know why. I just shit all over us. Welcome. I am your co-host, Lord Yeshua. It's Josh here. We are why are you over to the right? Zach's usually in the middle. Maybe it's just the call is different. We got Paul. We're on his channel. It's Ryugami-san. That's where you're at. When it's another letdown, it's Zach in the flesh. Welcome, everybody. We are here to talk about some shit. Continue our thing. Right, Paul says
I took a good shit this morning. Is that what we're talking about?
Did you?
Now?
I got this my new protein shake is like a meal thing, and because and I was like, oh, surely I can just add it to meals, but oh my god, it's like eating another meal. Yeah. My shits were crazy. Anyway, Paul, make us about video games. Not kidding.
I was testing the audio. We're good. We sound good. We might have some echo there because I
guess the Brown Town. I mean,
but yeah, everyone sounds good. We've just had so many audio issues lately. I just wanted to make sure,
maybe our best intro yet.
Yeah, that was good. I was listening, kind of.
Just kidding.
All right. Yeah. How's everyone doing this week?
Not too shabby. I worked so much, but there was some gaming.
Cool. Tell us about it, Josh.
Maybe I'll go last because I'll do the review, right?
Sure, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll start with Zach. Zach, how was your week?
Yeah. My week was very busy. A lot of sports and sports-related things.
Sports.
Skating on
not gaming at all.
Wednesday. No, it's not at all. And it was
sports games.
Actually, I also skated this week, but roller skating.
Oh, nice. No, I play hockey, Josh. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
We took the students skating.
Roller skating, the Dane Cook of skating.
I have the inlines though, so
Yeah. I'm nice to inline skates. That's what I do most of the year.
I was an aggressive inline skater too. Yeah.
Were you? You were aggressive.
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, I just like.
I had some K2s.
Skating. I'm not finessing at all.
I was the speed kid on the aggressive team.
I'm a speed kid, but not finesse. I have no skill. I can go fast. I'm a big guy, but that's it.
Yeah, I had the H plates and stuff and grind plates and all that.
Oh, see, I need to get the hand things and the elbows so I can go shh and shit sideways
Yeah,
nice.
It's fun. Anyway, the weather is still kind of nice out here, honestly. For that, it's fucking spring already. Pretty much.
That's the nice thing about Colorado is it could be 0 degrees outside, and as long as the sun's out, you could be in a t-shirt.
Yeah. We got snow twice last week, and there's still nothing on the ground. And it's cold-ish, but definitely 40s. I'm this is winter. What the fuck?
Yeah,
it was -18 this weekend.
Damn, and the coldest it was 23, and I was but the sun, it's still.
Dude, it got down to 8 degrees here, or maybe 4 degrees. Dude, it got really cold
lucky. Here. 2 years ago, we had zeros, but this year last year maybe 10s, maybe some zeros. This year, definitely what the fuck? Our warmest winter. It's spring, dude. Mm-hmm. Everyone's it's so cold. I'm dude, it's spring.
Well, people always think that, and then February hits, and you're
maybe
we're in Hoth,
Yeah, we could go to Hoth. We could go straight to fucking Pluto, but
welcome to New England. It's Hoth from November to May.
Oh no! See, we have 6 months of winter, but it's sprinkled throughout. It's you'll get hail in June, and May.
Yeah,
but it's also 100 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. It's
it's technically winter. I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
but
anyway, where are we?
I was talking about So I didn't get to play a whole lot of video games this week. It just had a lot going on. But Alex and I played Gears Tactics. We made a little bit more progress and spun our wheels in other places.
Okay,
which is a little frustrating, but game's still really good. Other than that, I sat down and played on Josh's recommendation. I started playing the Undertale sequel.
Yeah, Deltarune.
It's very weird and very fun. I'm only 5 minutes into it.
Very well written. You did play Undertale, right?
I've seen Undertale played. I didn't play it myself, but I know.
What? Dude, you're playing the sequel to it first?
Why not?
It's a $4 game.
That is how I approached Harry Potter, and I still
honestly, Undertale is one of the greatest scripts in a video game. Period, in my opinion, so geniusly made. But Deltarune is not as genius, but it's very good still. What? You're crazy, Paul.
I am.
I am very familiar with Undertale. Josh, I've seen it played. So I was like, I don't need to drop $15 when I'm already like I'm fighting.
It's like $1 on G2A. I promise you.
Well,
on Steam though, yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, being that I've got a lot of other expenses coming up, Deltarune is free and Undertale is $15 on Switch. I was like,
I'd rather have it on the Switch too. Yeah. I get you. I'm happy that it's free. The fact that Toby Fox is like sacrificing himself on that, literally dropping a full game for free on like actual consoles and Steam, like holy shit, what a genius! He doesn't give a shit. He made his success in Undertale, and he's like, now I just like want people to have games. Like
you think about where the world is right now and what the world has to do with a lot of their free time. A lot of that's play video games because it's
the story
unequivocally safe.
Yeah,
and exactly. With a lot of people concerned about this, that, and the other thing, dropping the ability to drop a free game just makes you an absolute hero.
Incredible. Yeah, that's genius. And that's what I'm wondering, if the Cuphead DLC that's coming out this June will be free. They were gonna make it free before, and they're like, okay, now it's $5, and now they're like, now it's not coming out. So I don't know what's gonna be.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's very cool at a time like this.
So I'm very excited to play more Deltarune. It's so much fun so far. So
cool. The name's cool. That's a cool name.
Yeah, I know. It's very. Cool. It's like it's a play on the Triforce. I'll let you know that.
Oh yeah,
like everything he does, everything
Toby
Toby Fox does is like subversive in some way to like pop culture or something that already exists, or like he spins things. So it's like, hey, it's like that, but like totally his own weird take on it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I did not play a lot of video games this week either. I had a pretty busy week. I put together a pool table. That was cool. We got a pool table on an auction site for like $80 and put that together.
You got
oh dude,
what the fuck?
I got a monitor on an auction site, a nice one for $16.
Oh wow.
But I hooked it up and there's a crack in the screen that was kind of invisible unless you have it turned on, and like a whole inch on the left side of the screen all the way down, it's just dead pixels.
It's only an inch though. You can move your shit.
Hmm.
You could potentially move your stuff an inch to the right.
Unsightly, Josh. Like
so the
put your start bar on the right.
Here's the thing. If I was going to use it as just like a Discord monitor or something like that, sure, I would do that. But this was to be a replacement for my gaming monitor, because my gaming monitor is going out.
Definitely don't want to not see like everything on the left.
So yeah, I can't do that with my gaming monitor. That's the only problem. Like if I ever need an extra monitor for something, to whatever, that's fine. I can do that. But like this specifically was to replace my gaming monitor, and that's no good. So right now, I mean, my gaming monitor still works. It just has like a warm-up time, which sucks. It's like anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes it takes to warm up before all the pixels are running. And
very bad.
Yeah, so once it's on, it works great. But like eventually the thing's gonna crap out.
You only do it when you're streaming anyway, so you just have it on the start screen, like while you're setting up. It's not that big a deal.
Right. Yeah.
10 minutes passes.
Yeah. So I mean, as long as my computer's on, it's just like in the morning when I turn my computer on is when it happens. So it's not like if I start a new game, it goes back to that kind of bullshit.
That would be horseshit.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I would have already replaced it by now. I would have gone and spent the
monitors
extra money.
are so like more expensive than TVs. Like what the fuck?
They are, yeah. It's to a degree.
Absolutely crazy.
But I use 2 TVs instead of any monitors.
Yeah, I'm looking at you guys.
I've never had any complaints from me. They're huge. I have bad sight, so like this is great. They're way bigger than a monitor that I can afford for this size. Like
you've got exceptional vision. Yeah. But anyway, not the point.
Not I.
The monitor sucks. It's a bummer. But that's what you get for paying $16 for a monitor. I'll keep looking. Maybe I'll find one, for cheap. But otherwise, I'll just spend the money. As of right now, my current gaming monitor still works, so it's not an immediate problem. But anywho, as for gaming this week, I didn't do much. In fact, I thought I was going to cancel all of my streams because we were going to go camping and this, and that. But we ended up skipping camping. So I did do Samurai Saturday yesterday, played a little bit more of Okami, which I love that game. I will say,
repetition.
It's a little disappointing how easy it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's fantastic.
Well, not everything can be a Souls game, Paul.
Yeah,
and that's
what it is.
probably it.
Actually,
Like lately, I've just been playing Souls games, so like
an E-rated Nintendo game now.
Yeah. But Zelda games are more challenging than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Zelda games are much more challenging.
Zelda has a high bar in some dungeons.
Yeah,
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about the back half of Ocarina.
Yeah. Any amount of the water temple requires like 5-6 hours your first time minimum.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about it. Like the game's very Zelda inspired, like very clearly, even down to like musical cues. But
I love that stuff.
As for puzzles, they kind of use mini games in lieu of puzzles. There are still some puzzles, but they're not Zelda level puzzles.
Did you guys watch that video I sent you guys about how the dungeons are like puzzle boxes, the puzzle block dungeon theory with Zelda?
Yes.
And how it's like just so well, it's in the Discord. But anyway, for everyone back home,
I still have not had a chance to watch it. I will watch that though.
The reason they're so unique is because it's not just like a puzzle. Like some rooms are like there's a puzzle, you push a block, but like sometimes the entire dungeon is like a big moving puzzle that you have to like lock into certain places and at certain times, even intervals during the dungeon in order to make this like the key unlock the final thing. You know, it's absolutely gorgeous, and like how to make these is like holy fuck.
Two great examples of that are in Link's Awakening.
Puzzles and gaming is a good topic, by the way.
The 7th dungeon, the one with the bird boss at the
Link's
end.
Awakening, Eagle Tower,
Tower, and then the 8th dungeon,
Turtle Rock.
Always
the 8th,
yes, are both very good examples of that puzzle.
Especially Eagle Tower is like absolutely like if you zoomed out and like held it in your hands, you would be able to like see exactly how this mechanism worked, but as Link, you have to like literally like ding 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 like hit all these points perfectly. It's literally like it's mousetrap basically.
It's super
cool.
Know,
and you can fall off, of course, and like fuck it up, but it's absolutely incredible how these people think of this shit. So crazy.
That's very cool. Josh, tell us about your week. What games you play?
Already. Yes, me and Colin were playing Banjo-Kazooie, which is now free on the N64 store. I look
with an asterisk,
and I see free enough. I now see this as worth the price, in my opinion. I see a full enough library that this is awesome for casual people. Okay, hold up. I see 6 games that are really, really fucking good. Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, Yoshi, Mario Kart, Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox 64, and Mario Tennis. And Dr. Mario is actually kind of fun.
Dr. Mario
is there's 2 random games. So like 7 games that are arguably in everyone's collection already. Like
Dr. Mario on the Super Nintendo one too?
Well, yeah, this is just Dr. 64. Yeah. Basically, yeah, it is on this. It was originally on this. It might have been.
It's on the original Nintendo as well on NES.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure when Zach's gonna hit us with the.
I'm looking up
here, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so arguably like the N64 thing is like it has value in it now. I really want the N64 controller now because I'm realizing me and Colin were talking about this. We mapped our buttons so that we can like kind of make it feel right. But in certain instances, like in Ocarina of Time, there's like a button for the right C stick, C button, whatever. There's a button for the up C button, but there's no way to map the left C button. So you have to use the left C stick. Like, you know what I mean? So you can use the stick for all 3 and just make it a stick thing. But if you want a hot button for like the button itself, for some reason you can't map it going left. I fucking tried. So I don't know why.
That's weird.
But so it's kind of like if you're handing this to someone brand new and they're like, go play Ocarina of Time for the first time ever. It's awesome. Great N64 game. They're like, it's not as intuitive as holding an N64 controller, which is why I think the N64 controller add-on is probably like a must buy for anyone trying to get into this. Casual gamers, this thing is super value. Nostalgic gamers, this thing is decent value. Anyone in between, it's like kind of a toss in the air if you want to try these new games for yourself, basically. But I think it's awesome. So we played a lot of that. It's just cool to have save states and to like pass it back and forth. We were doing every 5 jiggies, we pass it back. And so like, just keep going like that until we keep playing through the whole game. It's really fun, even though we literally have co-op this in Mod Loader.
Yeah.
And it's arguably way better. And we're like playing by ourselves and we're like, what would you do at this part again? Because we were like forgetting how to do each other's half because we hadn't played the full game in so long.
Right.
Dr. Mario was released initially on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1990.
Oh, okay.
It was then re-released
NES.
It was then re-released on arcade.
I remember the commercials for
Game
that.
Arcade. I don't remember that being in the
on
arcade. That's very
Nintendo
crazy.
Versus system.
Okay.
Then it was paired. An enhanced remake of Dr. Mario was paired with Tetris on the SNES. And then there was the 64 version.
Yeah, and then the 64. And then did they do any more? Probably since then.
Yeah. There's been more after that.
Yeah. What else? That's pretty much. No, I'm just kidding. So I think I didn't really do much. It was that and then Sky. We played some Sky, and wait, that's the review. Okay, so we're just gonna hop into it. It's like I didn't play anything else this week.
Yeah, we can switch over to the review screen.
Actually had been playing some Magic Arena with my coworker today. That was
Cool.
really fucking fun. I'm a big Magic nerd, some D&D, but like I really love Magic. It's bad. And we were just like literally playing on the clock for like 8 hours today. Like
I played competitive Magic for
I know I love Modern so much.
God, Modern was the format that I was second most. Like it was Limited and Modern were my
truly
format.
just destroy and
So,
just like ravage people in this game.
I bought when I was a kid. I bought a Magic starter kit, or starter deal, and me and my brother played like 2 games, and then we came home, and my mom found it and thought it was evil.
Are you kidding me?
Disposed of it.
She's one of them.
And then
what year was that?
Late 90s, maybe? I don't know. Early 2000s.
Okay. Not horrifying value.
And then, so in lieu of that, she got us like a Christian customizable card game called Redemption, which is actually a surprisingly fun game. It's actually a surprisingly fun game. It has really good art. And a funny story, our friend Colin also played this game back in the day and got kicked out of a tournament for accidentally cheating.
Really?
Yeah, he like accidentally had too many of like he certainly didn't do it on purpose. Like I'm not talking shit on Colin. He'll tell you the story himself. Though. He had like too many of a certain card in his deck. And he
told me this. He did tell me the story.
Yeah.
Too many of a certain card. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, because you can only have a certain amount, like a play set. So in Magic, it would have been like having 5 of a card.
Yeah.
But you registered it as 4 for the tournament.
Right.
And so when they find out you have 5, it's obviously cheating. But you're like, damn it, I'm stupid.
Right. This was totally unbeknownst to him as far as I know. So
he wasn't a pro, so it was just like...
Right. It was like a casual tournament, but he definitely got like banned from the tournament for it.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It actually is a surprisingly fun game for like a,
I want to play that
Magic
now.
knockoff. I used to have literally every card.
Have you played Munchkin? Munchkin is fun.
What was it called again?
It was called Redemption.
Redemption, okay.
Yeah.
Redemption, the card game. It is so fucking funny.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Oh my God.
Should I continue or should we
Redemption? Yeah.
You played Munchkin, right? Carry on. It's like fixed Magic.
Wikipedia. It's designed by Robin.
Okay. Wait, Zach froze.
I was waiting to hear. Zach's not frozen.
Oh wait, he froze for a second, and then he unfroze.
Yeah. All right, well, good.
I know you're good now. Maybe you're just being very still.
Oh my! Wait a minute.
Wait, his sound is way behind though. Is that happening?
I know. That's why I'm like something is weird. That's why I was
something's weird. Yeah, his sound's way behind. Let me see if I can fix him in the control panel. I'm just gonna hit you with a. What am I doing? Oh God, what has happened? I'm just gonna hit you with a.
Should I start the review?
Yeah. Rainbow puke fix. Hopefully that fixes you.
Am I getting puked on, or is he getting?
No. He's neither of you are, but his sound is delayed, which is weird. So I thought maybe doing that would fix him. Anyway,
it's the other game that me and 4Gs have been playing recently, and I'm trying to get all these motherfuckers to play, and I don't know why Zach only just downloaded it today. When you downloaded it last week, I thought that was Paul.
Yeah, no, I downloaded it last week.
Okay.
I downloaded it last week too.
Okay, well, let's play it this week. I'm off Monday, Tuesday. Let's stream
Okay.
it. I'll
I
stream.
can probably make that one of those.
I'd be down for that. But okay, this is the game that me and Colin have been playing a lot of. We beat it and then replayed it, and it's actually still so fun. And literally, we haven't like experienced anything similar. Maybe like 10% similarities out of like everything after we beat it. Like, you know what I mean? Just re-exploring the same shit. We've like experienced the whole new game pretty much as we go.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to the review screen, and you go ahead and keep talking, and I'm gonna check and make sure the audio is good. Okay. So let's switch over.
The link that I just put in the chat.
Wait, me?
Paul.
Me check that link?
Yep.
You're telling me there's a digital version of this game?
There's a digital version of Redemption. It exists.
Oh my god. Post that in Discord. I want to check that out. All right. I'm going to mute myself and check the audio. Go ahead and talk.
That's incredible.
Talking
hey,
now.
I'm talking.
Oh my god, this is a riot. I'm absolutely loving that. That's freaking hilarious. Someone tell Adam and Colin. We should get Colin to build his deck that he got bounced with.
The cheat deck.
The
cheat
cheat
remember
deck.
It.
Oh my god. I mean, it's so easy to code a card game into Tabletop Simulator, though. It's like, as long as it exists, it's fine.
That's funny.
We're good to go, boys.
We are.
Awesome.
What do I do?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Go ahead and you do your review, man.
I feel like my like chat is so far behind. I don't even see Jade in the shot. Like, and she's been in the shot for like 5 minutes now. Like, that's how far behind my feed is. But yes, my review is on what the fuck is the title after Sky?
It's Sky Children of the Light.
Okay, this game is called Sky. This game is called Metroid Fusion. No, I'm just kidding. It's what it says here. This game. Oh yeah, so this is gonna be an issue because I don't know any of these facts.
Oh shoot, we didn't do. Man, this is scuffed. We can do the facts later. Go ahead and just start your review. We'll do the facts at the end.
Okay, so the name. This game is Sky Children of the Light. We don't have the feed playing. Oh, there's Jade. Do we? This game is a fucking free game. I'm gonna start out by saying this game is free before you get off saying like, what is this shit? Like, you can literally just play it for free and find out for yourself. So this is developed by some random ass indie company. I don't know, maybe the same people as Journey. I'm gonna guess that. And then it released 2 years ago. Paul said.
I just put it in there.
You did? Oh, that game company, which is the same people that did Journey. No. Fact check.
Oh God.
I don't know.
Welcome to This Is Difficult podcast, where the facts are made up and the reviews
facts
don't
are definitely
matter.
made up. It looks like Journey. We're gonna get to that in a sec. Okay, released on June 29th, 2021. So this game is about 7 months old, I guess, 8 months. It's on the Switch, the iOS, and the Android. I played it on the Switch. It is cross-platform as well. Let's just mention that. So anywhere you have an account, I can just like load it up on my iOS, on the Android. The optimal way to play this is on the Switch. In all intents and purposes, this is a Switch game, guys, because it's on 2 phones and 1 console. So in reality, this is a Switch game. Okay. So although it is a mobile game, on these mobile things, this game does not look like a mobile game on the Switch. It really does not. So if you're worried that this is like GTA, like fucking ported over, or if you're worried that it's the exact same visually, like, it must look pretty damn good on the phone then, because like it looks really fucking good.
The footage we have in the background is from an iPhone.
That's really funny. And I think part of that is also because the Switch is a handheld, so they probably reached out to the handheld people. They reached out to iOS, Android, and Switch because they wanted it on the Switch Lite, probably. And then Switch was like, yeah, I mean, we're the only ones getting it, and it's a free game. You guys are just gonna like pay for all that. I don't know how it works. Does Nintendo pay these people? Do they pay to be on the Switch? Do they get paid in some way? Like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? So that's the second thing.
Did someone stick you on a paycheck, Josh? Because
no. So that's the second thing. This is a gacha game, but in no real way is this a gacha game. This in no way you do gain actual game progress from any of the gacha. So it's really just like, it's not even like loot boxes or anything. You can also just decide what you want if you really want to. I will never put a cent into this game, nor anyone that I like would want to play this game. Like, I feel like they should either. And like, but if you do, I see people that customize the shit out of their guys and they get season passes like Fortnite and whatnot. And it's literally just you can customize your characters and get like different like spells, which are all like visual basically. Like all that stuff is basically visual. And so I'm not going to knock that against the game because it does not like take anything away from the game. The game is fully accessible, you know, like aside from being able to gain some visual and like, you know, other things like in the beginning, like you can still play the game and get everything, you know, and it's honestly more enjoyable without having all this weird bullshit on it. So like, like I just ignore all that stuff. And anyway, so what did I like about the game? The game is fucking gorgeous. I mean, look at this right here. You flying in the background. It's absolutely beautiful. When you pick this up, it feels like Breath of the Wild in a lot of ways, the good ways. And it's instead of climbing mountains, you're soaring at supersonic speeds through the air and like twirling, doing barrel rolls and shit. Really cool things about this are and so also the landscapes are really beautiful. Like you'll pierce out of the clouds and you'll be like, look at those islands on the horizon. Like, and we'll be like, let's go over to them. Me and Colin, you know, hanging out together in the online thing. And we'll fly down and it's a giant like thing with tons of quests and puzzles on it. And you like every time you explore one thing, you like dive deeper into this like new place and area. And each one is kind of like, you know how in like some games, like each area is different, like in Hollow Knight, like some places are more dark. Some places are like all futuristic. Some places like lush, beautiful tropical islands. Like, you know, some things are like, you know, all these different aspects, like old shrines, like dark swamps, like everything you can think of. This game is gorgeous and it has a lot just like of landscapes. And I almost thought it was procedurally generated for the longest time because it was like, it feels like it could be like add these certain landscape aspects and certain like pieces and then just like make it because there's different seasons to this game as well. So we've experienced a few seasons so far. Me and Colin overlapped into the newest season also. And what that is advanced storylines, more things in the game, all free things. We already have a beat to the game, so you can beat the game. I don't want to spoil anything, but when you beat the game, you basically give everything up in the game and get New Game Plus. And every time you do that, you get New Game Plus in a certain way. It's not true New Game Plus. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is New Game Plus. So every time you want to beat the game, know you're going to basically start over. But it also gives the option to just keep playing the game. So like me and Colin did that, and then we just get to keep playing the game. And we're like, okay, let's just not do that for a while now, and let's keep playing the game until we want to like do New Game Plus again. And the game keeps giving you new shit. So really cool. The coolest aspect about this game that I love more than anything, and I do wish it was on other consoles for this reason, but I'm really happy that all my friends have Switches, is that it is co-op online, like co-op to the max. It's absolutely the best integrated co-op. It's kind of weird at first, like adding people. Like once you get them added in, it's really, really easy to just like it's like a constellation thing in your home. Once you start up, you go to your home, you're in your home, just press the Y button, look up into the sky, click on your friend's name, and literally just go to friend, and you go to the exact location your friend is. And everyone in a server area is in this world with you. It's not everyone in the game. It's like split into servers. And so you get like quite a bit of people playing with you at any given time. Like in a certain area, like anywhere from 0 to 10 to 20 people sometimes, just like roaming around the giant area. You know what I mean? It's not like gratuitous. But like, so throughout your entire game, there might be like 100 to 1,000 people, and the game is massive. So like, it's not gross. There's not like an insane amount of people. There's interactive aspects like puzzles that like you'll find a door with 2 lights on it. Me and Colin are like, co-op door, like come over here, we need to open this together and stuff like that. And like puzzles that require each other to like carry things and stuff like that. The puzzles are really Zelda-like and are really cool. And like just like walking it through the game is really cool also. Like your character is very bouncy and feels good to control. So that's very interesting. There's like a lot of aspects that are really, really just enjoyable. Like the game is feel good. The things you unlock mean nothing except for like more flying. Like you can fly better and better throughout the game. And that other things are like emotes and other visual things, which are like cool. But like regardless, anyone can play the game with any skill level. And it's just a feel good game. There's no like risk reward. Like you get a slight reward and it's like, it just feels good to play. So it doesn't really matter what you unlock, which is a rare thing in a game, I feel like. Let's see what else. What didn't I like about the game? The controls are kind of weird sometimes. Actually, I might have forgot something else in that category, but here, I'll come back. The controls are kind of like iffy. sometimes. I feel like where like when you're flying, there's two modes. I think of it like Star Fox. There's like all range mode and regular mode, but like not quite. So when you're on like an island and the ground is below you in some capacity, like you switch to like kind of like you're flying like this almost, and you can like go up, and then I don't know how to explain it. You can like do a controlled dive, but it just feels interesting. It feels like you're more controlled and slow. And then when you're like truly in the clouds, you like soar like you're a fucking like in Star Fox, and it's like insane, but it feels very different, and you switch between them sometimes like without realizing it, and then your controls are kind of different. You can also change that with the R button, which is nice, but then that is also kind of confusing because you're like literally like pressing it as you're like doing the other thing, and you're like, oh wait, what? I have to like. So it's not the most intuitive controls for flying. I will say it's like kind of like you got to give it. They're an indie company. This is like a really, really good attempt. This is a fucking free game. So like, I'm not trying to knock it too much, but I will knock that a little bit.
Sure.
The co-op, they fixed it actually in the newest season, but the co-op still does this occasionally where you go into an area that has a cutscene in it and it separates the two people. Me and Colin have to like, I usually like immediately go. It takes like 10 seconds, but I just like click go home, which you can do on the start screen at any time. Go to your home, and then just immediately press Y and look in the sky, and then go right to Colin again. And it fixes it, but it's like there's some connection issues, and yeah, the controls, some issues. So, let's see what else. The story, also, yeah, the story kind of ties into one more thing I don't like about the game. The story is really interesting. It's all like pictures and stuff. It's like about you saving these like gods that are like kind of like constellation-y spirits in a way, and you're solving their problems in a way, and like there's multiple ways. There's like you rescuing spirits, there's like you saving, like you unlocking shrines, and like the big god spirits are getting freed, and then there's like the spirits that you like follow through their memories, and those are like the big puzzle Zelda-y ones, and you like find where they died. It's like kind of cool actually, and there's like some really like touching moments and good pictures and stuff, and so that's part of the good, like good articulate illustrations. And then part of the bad is that it's all the time. So because you're doing a lot of these, it's like endless. Like you'll go back to the area you've been in and there's like a new puzzle. You're like, holy fuck, this game just keeps giving you shit. It's awesome. And there's new areas associated with these puzzles too. It's like every time you gain like power, the more you can fly, the higher you can go too. So it's kind of like Breath of the Wild in that way. So you can like explore higher areas. Gameplay very fun. Gameplay is super fun. You can like hold hands with people and stuff, and like ride on each other's backs, and like do all sorts of crazy stuff. We found a way to bypass the cutscene thing, was to hold hands and go through an area we knew had a cutscene. So it's like, and that way like you don't get separated anyway. So there's lots of really fun things to the gameplay that are really fun. Yeah, but mostly the story not super engaging. Art is gorgeous, music is gorgeous, and the sound is really amazing as well. Like you really feel like you're flying through these wind tunnels, and it's just beautiful. Like look at these landscapes. This is good. This looks good. How long does it take you? It's never ending, kind of. That's the cool part. The story takes like 10 hours, 5 to 10 hours, and it's really good, actually. If you like take it for what it is, it's very abstract, but it's an indie game. Don't knock it again. It's not AAA money, but it's definitely, it's good. And then so 10 hours or so, but like, yeah, never ending really. So that's huge. Was the game difficult? No. It's so fucking easy, but some things are really difficult. It has learning curve areas. Like if you've gained enough levels, like a flight, to like get to the crazy hard to get to areas, like super puzzly to get to areas, then it rewards you with harder puzzles and like harder like things. You know what I mean? Like spirit quests. So I think that's really cool too. And it keeps it so the grading is good, but always manageable. Would I play a sequel? I mean, they're probably just going to keep adding on to this. I probably would. I think this company does some solid work. I would definitely play their stuff. Overall rating and impression. And then, yeah, you can like slide around the landscape too. Instead of just like walking, you can also like jump a little. And then if it's smooth ground, you can like slide. And they perfectly made all the ground like kind of like wavy for that reason. It's really cool. Perfect overall impression. I'd probably give this game an 8.5. I think overall. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah,
that's
I know.
high.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, it's not 9 quality because the control.
So you're putting this on like the same level as like Metroid games and things like that.
Okay, maybe like. I mean, in its own right, I think it is very enjoyable. It's hard to say. They're very different games, obviously. I'm not saying one's better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
One has different faults than the other potentially, but I would say fun-wise, this game is super fucking fun. I think it is absolutely worth playing. Is the game worth buying at full price? 100%. It's $0. It's $0. But play for yourself. This game is really a co-op experience, I think. If I played it by myself, and it's really fun, actually. It's really like peaceful, and it's like you can just like really feel yourself soaring through the clouds. It's really cool. And again, not AAA, and it's free, so take it for what it is. I think for what it is, it did a really good job, and it is really fun to play. Like, me and Colin kept coming back to, we're like, Sky tonight, like just like keep coming back to this game, and we're like, we're surprised we're still playing this. We said like a few times, we're like, are we still playing this game? Like after like 5 weeks or whatever. Like it's been like 3 weeks of playing this game now, and that's like pretty good for just a free whatever game. So I would highly recommend playing this. Download it now. Anyway, that's my review. It's
there you go. Very cool. It honestly, like, I'm looking at this stuff. It looks really good.
And it is. You're gonna go in. You're gonna see some like graphical things that are like, it's not even like fault worthy, but it's just like not, the money wasn't like all the way there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
It still looks really good. Like it's very impressive in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I've got it downloaded. I haven't had a chance to play. But I'm super interested.
Josh, if you're off on Tuesday, I can.
Oh, let's do it.
Paul, am I preempting your stream?
We'll get Colin. I think we'll get Colin in here. He'll be
maybe.
Down.
Yeah. Maybe we could do that. Yeah,
we'll all soar through the clouds together.
I'm not against it at all. That'd be pretty cool. I don't have a plan for Tuesday per se. I was gonna start Dragon Ball Z Kakarot this week. I've been on like a super Dragon Ball Z or just Dragon Ball in general kick.
Dude, I'm like holding off on that 2-week trial of Funimation because I want to have enough time to binge it. I at least get through Dragon Ball before I have to start paying.
Yeah. Well, you can. Dragon Ball's all on Hulu, so that's where I watch Dragon Ball. But I got the 2-week trial of Funimation so that I could watch Z and Super.
Yeah, I want to watch Super.
I know what I'm doing.
Kai actually too.
Between panel shows,
is Kai on Funimation?
What's that?
Is Kai on Funimation?
Kai is on Funimation. I would not recommend watching Kai if you want my honest opinion.
I like that.
And here's why. Here's why I wouldn't recommend it. Number one, it cuts a lot out, which I understand is kind of part of the intention, because there is some fluff and unnecessary stuff in Dragon Ball Z makes it draw out longer than it should be. But they also cut out some of the fun stuff. Number two, what they did to make it letterbox, 16:9, is they just zoomed in to the picture on, because the original Dragon Ball Z was not drawn in 16:9. And so there's so many moments in the series where like parts of the scenery and parts of the characters are cut off, and it just, to me, it looks terrible. So I would honestly recommend watching the uncut version of the original. Honestly, I would also recommend watching it in Japanese because the translation's better and the voices are better.
I've done both. I watched the Japanese all the way through on Adult Swim when I was that age.
Yeah.
And then we rewatched the uncut English in college all the way through. Yeah. And it only took like 2 weeks because we really watched it.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking, we only went to Taco Bell. I skipped classes. Z. Yeah.
Okay.
Z. Yeah. Z. Honestly, Z is my show. If I'm being honest with you, I like Ball and I like GT. Right, yeah, I like Ball and I like GT, and I haven't seen Super.
GT is not canon.
I haven't seen all of it, but I did like it what I saw. But I think Z is like my shit. I've seen that at least 3 times all the way through.
But anywho, I was gonna start that this week instead, and I might still do that, but we'll see about Sky. Anywho,
where are we now?
Going on with our topic, we've been going through the generations of video games, consoles specifically.
Can I just say we are in my favorite one?
Well,
Josh, we've titled this episode "The Best Console Generation,"
the greatest generation, the greatest gaming generation.
Around.
Yes. So yeah. Anywho, so I mean, this people also know this generation. This is technically Gen 4. People know this as the 16-bit generation. This generation started in 1987.
32-bit.
What's that?
We got one 32-bit console though.
Towards the end, towards the tail end.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Yep. But yeah, so this generation started out in 1987 with the company NEC Hudson Soft releasing the first 16-bit console ever, the TurboGrafx 16, which is also known as the PC Engine.
So
we're actually
going to think about it.
I don't have much to say about this console, but you know, one of the questions we ask, which we'll get back to later on, is what consoles held up the best as far as like gameplay and graphics and stuff. And this one certainly is a contender. I have to say.
No, it definitely looks great. Yeah.
But so that was our introduction into the 16-bit console generation. And it was also the first ever console to outsell the Famicom, which is the Japanese version of the NES.
That's interesting. People saw the advancement and were like, "That's the first one."
Yeah,
exactly.
This is where we're going.
So Nintendo definitely took note of this and began working on their console. But we wouldn't see that till quite a bit later. The next 16-bit console to release was the Mega Drive in Japan in '88.
Out of the way. Just kidding. All these consoles are great, actually. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then the Genesis, which is the American version of the Mega Drive, came out in '89.
First big bomb was the Genesis.
Still have mine. Still
Did
works.
you say it was a bomb?
The first big bomb, like it hit the market like huge, is what I mean. Not a failed
bomb.
bomb.
Okay. I thought you said
like it financially bombed. No, like it was a nuclear.
It was a nuclear bomb. Yeah. This is where Nintendo started really sweating. Is when this came.
Nintendo's like, we got 5 minutes to make something better than that. How do we do it? We know how to make something super.
Something super. Which Nintendo, being late to the game, came out with the Super Famicom, which it's buried under stuff.
Is potentially the best console ever made.
Got a Super Famicom right here.
This is the holy grail, people.
This is a genuine Japanese Super Famicom. This came out in 1990 in Japan. And then they followed up in '91 with the Super Nintendo. Everywhere else.
Baby.
Controller ever.
Absolutely. Perfection.
I actually agree. It's kind of my favorite controller design. I wouldn't say necessarily like
good.
Controller design has come a really long way. I could use a
rounded off. I could use a rounded off bottom on the but the same design maybe.
Yeah, well,
but like think about where injection molded plastic was.
What's that?
At this point, we've got the 8-bit dough. And that gives us the rounded off bottom. Right. But at the time, injection molding for plastic wasn't at that point.
Right. And hey, I truly like for platforming, there's like a way that like your hand like presses under it like this, and your thumb is like this, and it just pushes perfectly, and it feels like, I don't know, the push feel like just feels real good in that controller. And it weighs nothing. It weighs absolutely no weight.
So light.
Such a light controller. So I gotta agree, at least for platforming, which is like 90% of that, I think it feels perfect. Can we also say, are we just diving into things? Okay. The Super
we weren't, but
and the
go
16.
Ahead.
Okay, you keep going.
No, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Well, we finally got a peek into what three-dimensional gaming could look like in this generation. We saw games like Star Fox. We saw other games. I mean, TurboGrafx. And
that was quite a bit later. This was like really towards the end of the generation.
Not true three-dimensional play, but we saw certain aspects and renderings that was like the predecessor for 3D. That's all I'm saying that gave us.
Sure.
So like things like Star Fox. We were like, oh my God, what?
Star Fox is real crazy. 3D.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's on the Super Nintendo. That's beautiful. Like
Star Fox wasn't late in the game either, Paul. It was February 93.
93. So, and also Donkey Kong's pre-rendering is like a predecessor to like 3D
which that was 94.
Almost. And that was 94. So 93 is really early. 91 was Super Mario World, and we were still tampering with like, you know, the pixeling, and that is great. Like that's the standard for good pixel art is Super Mario World. Like holy shit.
Straying away from the topic.
Anywho,
the original prototype. This is one of the coolest stories in gaming, I think. But the original prototype for the Star Fox engine was built on the Game Boy by an 18-year-old British kid. Who
was then contacted by Nintendo, right?
Yeah, Nintendo was like, we need him. and pulled him out. Yeah, it's a really cool story. That's
Very
a total
like
rabbit
she met
trail.
Shigeru Miyamoto and it was like, okay, like how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Like that's genius. And now that's why Star Fox is so fucking good. Leading into, and truly, like, it's funny because I think Star Fox is not that great of a game, and Star Fox 64 is the best of its type. But that's obviously next,
Star Fox 64 is kind of a remake of the original Star Fox, but
like,
the controls were perfected in 64, and that was the big drawback in the Super Nintendo.
That's just why the Super Nintendo controller, like, it's really good for platforming and side scrolling, and like Link to the Past, even it feels like somewhat. It feels good, but like not 100% of the time, I will say, to be top down. But it's really not meant for the 3D. So it doesn't feel great with Star Fox. The joystick is really what that game needed. But yeah, so I don't know. The groundwork is what I'm saying here. But anyway, what else did this generation give us?
We talk about the control and the controls being fleshed out between Star Fox on the Super Nintendo and Star Fox 64. The buttons on a 64 controller were still the same vertical press.
It's true. That's true.
That we saw on the SNES, and we didn't sort of get the bump buttons until we got them on the original PlayStation.
We did get two extra buttons and bumpers on the Super Nintendo also. So we got a very advanced controller like with this. What other consoles had like crazy controllers? I feel like Nintendo laid so much groundwork in this generation. Also, like the Super Scope and other crazy things like that.
Sega with the Genesis introduced us to
the Genesis. Why
do we only have 4 buttons on that one side?
Yeah.
Give us 3.
Yeah. Now, it's also the first console to put like a legit computer processor in the console. They rebranded it as Blast Processing, but that was the most powerful computer processor that was on the market at the time in the late 80s. And that was a really big deal. And they really marketed the shit out of that with the Blast Processing. Yeah. The whole like Sega does what Nintendo don't. We're gonna get into that a little bit. Let's talk about.
I will say. Okay, you go.
I was just gonna say just like some more fact stuff, and we'll talk about more anecdotal stuff going through. So SNES was 91 when it came out everywhere. This was also the first generation to have CD-based consoles and add-ons. There was a ton of add-ons for this generation.
The Super Game Boy.
Super Game Boy, the Sega CD, the 32X, which is the first 32-bit console.
Sega CD, was so cool. That absolutely blew my mind. Here in like, I've got my Green Day CD that I still have and still listen to all the time.
Yeah.
It hangs out in my car. I'm putting that in my video game console? Like, what? What is this, man? And then, like, you introduce, like, years later, we get the CD rewriting technology.
Yeah.
That's how I got my copy of Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Which is, don't buy that game. Don't play that game.
I won't not.
That's hilarious.
You'll be driving in real time from Phoenix to Las Vegas on a bus that slightly tilts to the right on a dead straight road. It's a 19-hour. You score.
Where are we?
If you get from Vegas to, Phoenix.
Wow!
And then it turns you around and you do it again.
Oh my god!
Like
that sounds terrible.
There might Loading Ready Run has played Desert Bus every year for charity for the last 12 years, and I watched most of the first 6 years. It's so boring that they have to do a variety show off to the side just to keep the driver entertained.
That's amazing.
Wow.
They raised millions of dollars. So.
That's incredible. Let's see. This was also the first console generation to have online services.
That's true. Isn't that
wild?
I feel like that has anything.
That is absolutely wild. They were pretty bare bones, but this is really early on for online services.
Was this the first handheld generation, technically?
So, yeah, we're gonna do handheld generations separately because they kind of interlap.
This when they came out is what I mean. Is this
I
when they
do
first,
believe that
wasn't Game Boy 90?
That we saw the Game Boy. The
was Game Boy before Super?
I think so. I think just barely.
Branded
Barely.
1988.
Oh,
Like
very crazy.
The copyright tag on the back of the battery case says 1988.
Oh wow, I did not know that. That's amazing. It's older than me.
It's not older than me.
Oh, you're old.
I am old. It hurts.
Old boy.
Both physically and emotionally. But anyway, let's see. What are some other facts real quick?
2-player.
2-player.
Yes.
We had 2-player in,
we had
in the
2-player.
previous gen. I mean, we've had
saying?
2-player since Gen 1, really.
We have more than 2-player in this gen? Did any consoles have 4?
Yeah, the multi-tap did
Very
come out.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of peripherals for this generation.
Yeah,
so
shit.
it could be like, anywhere from like the Super Scope to a multi-tap to these CD add-ons and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Some random friends' basements with random plastic peripherals just lying all around.
I mean, famously, the Super Nintendo originally was supposed to have a CD add-on that eventually became the PlayStation because Sony and Nintendo had a deal and they kind of effed each other over and went off and did their own thing.
Yep. I remember when we do like parties at my friend's house and play on the Super Nintendo, and we have to bring over like a giant plastic tote full of peripherals.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
It's crazy. Let's see. What other stuff do we have here? Okay. The console wars.
Done.
Yes.
This is like really where the console wars began. I mean, there was a little tiny bit.
Up.
What's that?
Nintendo is fully armored up at this point.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, it started with Sega. Sega came out swinging. They, their original commercials were Sega does what Nintendo don't. They worked really hard on acquiring like deals with celebrities and doing like intellectual properties and things like that. They really came out swinging.
Nintendo says, "Remember everything you loved on the NES? Part 2, baby." It goes, everything you loved before is better, and they solidify series, characters. They make things permanent, and like Sonic comes back, yes, and Sonic has made like, everything retro. We were like, are we going to see this again? We didn't even think, are we going to see this again? These games were like once, right? Because NES, Metroid, are you like, cool, great game. Metroid 2 comes out, or like, that's a bad example because that was the Game Boy. Super Mario World comes out, and you're like, holy fuck, this is so much more insane than Super Mario Bros. And Mario is a character that's going to be in my life now.
I mean, Mario 3 really did because of Mario 3 on the original Nintendo.
We knew Mario was staying, yeah.
Like that, Nintendo was able to still compete even after Sega had come out with their 16-bit console. True. Mario 3 before Nintendo was able to put out their 16-bit console, Mario 3 was able to carry them through and still give some serious competition because of the quality of that game.
But now characters are like real. Like branding is like super solid in the 16 and 32-bit era. And then like literally, how do they double the bits? I'm just like, how do they just like decide and no one else is like, oh, everyone else is like, oh, what the fuck? Like, is anyone else like gonna redo their shit? Like, no one cares. Okay, because they're going at the end. They probably waited. That's the one time Nintendo got ahead of everyone. They go last. They go last and they're better. Like, when does that ever happen in Nintendo? They usually go first and their specs are way worse. Like, and then Xbox and PS2 or PlayStation are like, take a big shit on their specs. I don't know where I am.
Oh my god. Let's get back on track here. Let's see. So, like the console wars was a big deal. That obviously like continues to this day. And then that's kind of, there was always stiff competition between these companies, but this is really when, everything started to kick off as far as like, it's us versus them, in their marketing.
Yeah.
Getting into our, I kind of structured this weird. I'm going to try and get through all the fact stuff first, and then we'll circle back to our personal experiences. So in 94, one of Sega's tactics for outpacing Nintendo was putting out more mature games. The perfect example is Mortal Kombat with its gore. The version of Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo was very edited, and the version on the Sega was, had full blood and the whole gamut, fatalities and everything. And this actually caused a problem legally with, the US. Like, people were up in arms, right? This all went to court, and this actually is where the ESRB comes from, which was actually started by Sega, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, which I didn't know. Like,
I did not know that.
They're actually responsible for getting that started and putting ratings in video games because of
in this game. It's fine
because of all the gore and everything at that time, which is crazy.
I remember Mortal Kombat. That documentary on Netflix has the Mortal Kombat episode that is very interesting if anyone wants to watch. And I don't remember the name of the thing. But anyway.
It's worth watching.
It basically started this whole fucking thing. Like, if Mortal Kombat wasn't a thing, I mean, Doom would have.
It was a kerfuffle, man.
It was a kerfuffle. A game that needs to exist, in my opinion.
I think so too. I think I don't think it's by any means the best fighter ever, but it certainly had a bigger impact on gaming than almost any fighter.
Yeah, I'm not saying it still needs to be a game. Like, I don't care about the new Mortal Kombat, but I think its creation was like that of Mario 64, basically being in 3D. Like, it was that impactful to like the gaming industry.
Yeah, for sure.
So massive.
For sure.
The launch price of Sega was $10 cheaper than the launch price of Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Super was like 300, wasn't it?
No, it was. They were Super was 189.
Oh, 189. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and Super Nintendo. Sorry, Super Nintendo was 199, and Sega Genesis was 189.
$200.
And the discrepancy between graphics quality and that sort of thing. I'm not surprised that more of my friends ended up with Sega Genesis, and myself included, than did end up with Super Nintendo.
Interesting. It's cheaper. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was cheaper and it came out quicker. So, it was on the market for a couple of years before the Super Nintendo dropped. So,
that is wild. Guys, what is we'll start with Josh. What's your first memory with a Gen 4 console? What was it? What console was it on? What game? What do you remember the most when you dipped your toes into Gen 4?
It's still what I play today. It was Donkey Kong Country, and boy, my buddy down the street had a Super Nintendo. I think I'm 4 this year. I'm 4 in 1994. And he was like a bus stop buddy, and we like play video games in the morning, stuff like that. And then after school, after we became friends. And he had a Super Nintendo. We played Donkey Kong, technically the first one that we played, but he also had Street Fighter, and we played Street Fighter a lot. Street Fighter 2, super amazing game. And I love Shark Guy.
That was Street Fighter 2 was an exclusive on the Super Nintendo for
That's
a year.
Right. That's right. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. It was like Super Street Fighter 2 or something. Yeah, right. Or I don't know. Some days there was like more characters or something. But that was really great. Donkey Kong, to this day, I obviously hold world records in Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, no big deal.
No big
deal. You're watching Fame, no big deal. But anyway, the originals are really what got me my platforming is my favorite genre because of this. Like, I just love the feel of this type of game. It holds up perfectly. Like, this experience is just like very nostalgic for me. It just it puts into perspective like all of gaming for me. Like, this is the genre when I first was like, wow, like gaming is just fun, and you're playing with your friends even, and just game design is so cool, and I can't explain it. And these games are so cool. It takes years to beat them. Like, Ocarina of Time took me years. Donkey Kong Country took us a year to beat, and 2 was I don't even know if we ever beat it. It took forever.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Holy shit. But damn, there were just so many good games back then. Yeah, but good stuff. Yeah.
Zach, what about you? What was your first memory with Gen 4 console? What console was it? What game? What do you remember?
Okay, so third grade, I was the school somehow managed to procure a Super Nintendo, and they got 3 games for it: Mario Kart, Mario Paint, and Super Mario World.
Yeah, baby. There it is. And
The
better.
rule was if we played Mario Kart, it was just 4 people in, they race, they're done. They pass it off to the next players. Mario Paint, like nobody really cared about that game. Because you had to plug it in the house and do the weird thing, and it was pretty stupid. Although I did watch a guy recently do a Bob Ross tutorial with Mario Paint, and it was absolutely
there's some nuts shit in Mario Paint. People make songs in that too.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit.
Crazy. But our favorite, everybody unilaterally agreed, Super Mario World was the best game we had at the after school program. And the rule was you played until you died.
Which is godly. Never die. Beat the whole game in one run. You ever beat the whole game in one run?
Like we would tag team. So Mario and Luigi, and we'd set it for 2-player, and between the two of us, our run would never end.
Nice.
And there was this one really cranky high schooler who worked at the after school program. And I still remember her name. I won't dox her on this. Not that she probably doesn't even exist anymore. I don't even know. But like,
I'm sure she exists.
Well, I'm sure she exists. Like her dental files are gone.
She was really cranky and awful, and she hated our guts. And one day she's like,
who you are.
Ryan and Zach are not allowed to play this anymore.
Why? Fuck yourself.
She was just jealous.
Yes. No, absolutely. And like for no reason, it was totally out of the blue. Like, yes, we were monopolizing it, but we were also like,
they get this many levels. They should have just said,
yeah, you changed the rule, or like we were trying to be polite about it too. Like we would wait until everybody else had a turn, then we would take our turn and do our run.
Yeah.
We were being, but she was like, no, you're not allowed to play anymore. And then she threw it in the dumpster.
What?
Yep. She threw out our Super Nintendo. Now, fortunately, we rescued it, but and it ended up at my friend's house. But like, she was a vindictive butthole.
Dude, like, I had an ex-girlfriend rip a Game Boy in half once. That was my worst video game
rip a Game Boy in half.
It was a Game Boy SP, and she just.
Oh, okay. I was like, how does but no, like she unplugged it right out of the TV, threw it in the skip, and we were like,
wow.
Okay, we're going to get that at school, right? Like that's ours. That we're taking that.
If I saw that as a kid walking by, I would be like,
later. Like she hated kids.
Jeez,
like, what are you working at the school program if you hate kids?
Oh, that wasn't a student. I thought
it was probably like court ordered. It sounds like
she got herself in so much trouble beyond that. Like she was a terrible, terrible person. But like,
yikes.
That was the
maybe she doesn't exist anymore.
I know
she doesn't exist. The government wiped
oh my god.
So Super Mario World
got black bagged.
First game that I was ever like any good at all. And yeah, we probably didn't beat the whole game in one sitting because by the time we'd get going, our parents would be there. But like, we'd be playing for most of the afternoon, and we knew where all the 1-ups were and all that stuff, so we could just prolong our run.
And, you had a game over.
Yeah,
you could have you could go to Vanilla and get the.
Dude,
yeah, baby,
Star Road.
Yeah, you do Star Road. So yeah, fuck
we just
everyone.
Star Road. We beat the game.
Everyone else probably hated you.
Oh my god, the two of us were fighting Bowser, and everybody's like crowded around, like, what is that? Who's that thing? And I'm just like this little third grader.
Game, no big deal.
Like Brian was a 5th grader, and we
cool kid.
We just hung out and played this game.
That's wild.
So Super Mario World will always hold a special place in my heart. And then it wasn't until years later that I discovered Mega Man, and the rest is history.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Dude, for me, my first 16-bit experience, I think. Here's the thing: it was really close together, so I don't really remember which one happened first, but I think it was Sega. And the reason I think it was Sega
Nintendo
is because I was so blown away by the graphics and how smooth everything was. We were in California visiting family, and we were at like a second cousin's house or something like that, like someone that I'm not super close with. And we were down in the basement, and they had a Sega Genesis, and they had Sonic and it was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. I didn't get to play it. My brother played it the entire time. And by the entire time, I mean, it was probably maybe 30 minutes before my parents found us and were like, hey,
none of that. No happiness tonight.
But I was completely blown away by what I had seen.
That's amazing.
It was incredible. And then, next would probably be our next door neighbor in Littleton. She had a Super Nintendo and we played Super Mario. It was a game changer,
Game changer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta say, once I played Sega after, and I was like, because my friends were like, had the Neo Geo and I had the Game Boy, and like some had the Sega Genesis and I had the Super Nintendo, or my friend did at least. And I was like, this is like off-brand. This is like, that's when I really became a Nintendo fan. Is when when the console wars became a thing, and like I was just like, just feeling Nintendo is just better. I don't know. That's really when it started.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I probably during that generation, like now, like as an adult, I've probably played more Super Nintendo than any other from that generation. But as a kid, most of my friends had Segas.
I just couldn't grab the concept. I was like, what is Sonic? Sonic doesn't make sense.
There were some incredible games on Sega though, like incredible. Right. That Nintendo just didn't have. So like there is a special place in my heart for Sega. I do think like when it all comes down to it, I do think Super Nintendo is a better console and has a better library ultimately. But I didn't discover that until I was pretty much an adult. I mean, as a kid, Sega was the cat's pajamas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was the bee's knees. That's awesome. It was the shiznittle biz bam snap.
Sega Genesis was where I learned to play the NHL games.
Yeah.
Like I know they're available on Super Nintendo. I always prefer them on Genesis.
All of the licensed sports games were on Sega. All of them.
Yes. All of them.
There was sports games on Super Nintendo, but they didn't have the actual teams from those leagues. Right. So that was a big selling point for Sega. So
for the longest time, Sega was just like I was a Sega kid.
Yeah,
because that's where Sonic was more appealing to me than Mario.
Because
he had comic books.
Dude. Lunatics.
Yeah,
Pazianti remains one
Yoshi.
of my favorite artists,
dude,
comic book artists of all time, and it's because I was raised on those early Archie Sonic comic books.
Yeah,
fair enough. And I do like that style.
So we're like, we're doing this in the video game. How does this translate into the comic books? Where are they coming up with all these extra characters? Where are they in the game? We would spend hours scouring the background of the game for some hint of Rotor, the walrus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yes.
What console/games do you think held up best from this generation and why?
Well, I mean, Super Mario World's got to be on the list. Sure. Absolutely. Sure. I mean, I play it all the time. Yeah. It is one of my favorite idle games. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Super Mario World. It's such an incredible.
Obviously, Mega Man X. Josh just played it recently.
Yeah.
And then Paul and I felt jealous and played it as well.
Yeah, that game is so good.
I could just play that game forever.
The music, the graphics, everything about that game.
Everything about that game, it just absolutely slaps. Mario RPG definitely holds up.
Oh my god, I forgot about Mario RPG.
Yeah. Star Fox paved the way for
the rendering and the use of minor 3D pixel models. Felt like you leapt into the future. We're not at N64, which is like mind blown off, but this is absolutely twice
longevity here. Yeah. Donkey Kong proved that.
Exactly. It looks so good now. You know what I mean? Like these renderings look. Yeah.
Even something stupid like Mario Paint. Watching Vargskeletron Joel, shout out Vinesauce Joel, follow Bob Ross tutorials with Mario Paint and just oh god, Bob, he crushes it and they look legit.
Damn.
That's cool.
That's a Super Nintendo game.
to you guys. It's so fun.
Yeah,
Like
in the chat
or
in the Discord.
Funny, but like it seems like every game on the Super Nintendo, someone could say, "Oh, let's play this janky old weird SNES game," and I'll be like, "Yeah, no, let's do it."
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I agree. My library, I was flicking through it the other day, and I was like, "Wow, this is the best library for a console I own. Every single game is like top tier."
Yeah. So Josh, I feel like I know what your answer is going to be, obviously, but same question to you. What console/games do you think held up the best from that generation one?
Obviously, Sonic won on the duh. Everything.
I think the Sonic games do hold up really well.
They all I say this, the Genesis holds up. It's just the strength of the company didn't help the longevity. I would say that like we literally have a dead console in the next generation and a half with the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And it's like that's bad when your console goes obsolete. Ouch. But for now they're really strong. It's awesome. I'd say a lot of the Genesis holds up, and Nintendo pays homage by having it on the Switch. So that's cool. They're buddies. Sonic wants to play ball, Olympic games and all that shit. You know how they do with Mario. But to me, so much on the Super Nintendo holds up so well. Some games do not, but setting the standard for pixel art, in my opinion, setting the standard for what pixel art to this day, today, gamers are making new games that look like these games. That's how fucking good. It's insane. This is the best generation. I feel like the Super Nintendo is maybe one of the best consoles ever fucking made.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. It enhanced gameplay. Making a game like Zelda into a Link to the Past. Yeah. What? You're just enhancing this. Making a game like nothing into Donkey Kong, old Donkey Kong into this.
Yeah.
Are you fucking joking me? The stupidest good platformer ever. One of the best platformers ever made. 94. Are you kidding?
This is where we got deep immersion storytelling.
Yes, also that. Yeah.
I agree.
And we haven't talked about that yet. This is where story started to happen.
Story drive.
And different methods of telling stories. You can have the outline, this is what's going on. Exactly what's going on right now. You're not missing a beat of Mario World and Yoshi's Island or whatever it was, the sequel.
Yoshi's Island.
Or
tiny story.
You can have between the lines storytelling. Here's a blip of story at the beginning and the end of Metroid and Mega Man.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Metroid. Yeah.
Have you guys ever played The Illusion of Gaia?
Yes, I have.
Dude, I've been wanting to play that game. I've got a video queued up. Yeah.
Gem. This is the first game I ever cried playing. I know Joe cried. And I literally told my teacher, she was like, what types of media evoke emotions? And I was like, video games. And she was like, you never cried from playing a video game though. And I was like, no, I actually have. And that was in college where that was one of the few games I'd cried. And I was like, you never played the Illusion of Gaia?
Link's Awakening makes me so emotional.
Link's Awakening is incredible. Also, I think the story is just so rich. And this is where Ocarina of Time learns a lot. And this Link, Zelda is the nails are in the fucking coffin. Zelda is a famous franchise now after Link to the Past. This is a godly storyline. You have done it, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Amazing. Mario, incredible. Platforming is Nintendo's thing now. They can do it. It's incredible. So so much just longevity, I would say. Yeah. Chrono Trigger, all these incredible fucking games and a lot of legendary games that are worth so much money now.
Yeah.
It's trend-setting games, Mario RPG, Super Metroid. We're talking Metroidvania games now existing. So just obviously Metroid 1 existed, but Super Metroid, come on, no question. Totally revolutionized the genre of Metroidvania. Metro or Mega Man X, creating totally new genres just getting created in this new generation. And he's saying, stories are a thing. That's the big thing. I'm literally crying in games. What the fuck do you want? What more do you want? We're not playing Pong anymore, baby.
You guys are kind of jumping into the final question.
Oh no!
So let's leave it there. For me, as far as what game and or console holds up the best, I do think that
if you say anything else,
you can make a case for the TurboGrafx.
I know you can,
because it did arcade games better than any other console of this generation.
Very true.
Far and beyond, it did those better. But that's kind of all it did. And I don't think arcade games really stand up as well as games from these other, consoles libraries. So I think the ultimate winner as far as what console holds up the best is certainly Super Nintendo.
Certainly.
The library speaks for itself. It's absolutely incredible. It really pushed the boundaries of what 16-bit could do.
That was 32.
Super Nintendo?
That's what I'm saying. That was a 32-bit console.
Oh, it's 16.
Is it 16? I've been saying 32 this whole time.
No, it's 16. It's 16.
Funny.
But to me, the game that holds up the best from this generation.
What do you think? I'm curious now.
Shining Force 2.
Oh.
Shining Force 2 on the Genesis is maybe one of my favorite games of all time.
That's on the Switch?
It's absolutely gorgeous. It is on the Switch, through the Sega Genesis collection. It's got incredible pixel art. It's got an incredible story. It's got incredible gameplay mechanics. It's one of the most fun tactical RPGs you'll ever play in your life. And it does what every other tactical RPG leaves out, which is the rest of the RPG, right? Every other tactical RPG that you play, it goes from one battle to another. You might be able to, mess with your units in between, but there's no other RPG gameplay in it. This has the whole thing. You're walking around, you got a world map, you go to towns and shops and talk to NPCs and the whole bit.
Did this generation not perfect RPGs also real quick? Like, holy shit.
Oh, for sure. We'll get to that.
Okay, yeah.
Just finishing off, one thing about the Sega Genesis that it really lacked in compared to the Super Nintendo was the sound chip.
Oh, yes. Yes, I forgot about this.
But Shining Force 2 manages to take full advantage of that underpowered sound chip and make one of the most beautiful soundtracks of a video game of that generation. And to me, that's why that game stands out as maybe the best game of that generation. Obviously, it's a personal preference, but I think that's worth checking out. The final question I have for you guys, and since we started with Zach on the last one, we'll start with Josh on this one. The overall influence of this generation. And that's why I stopped you guys before, because you guys were kind of talking about some of this stuff.
What did we say?
What would you say was the overall influence of this generation?
Okay. I forgot where you stopped us. I don't know if I had anything to do with this.
Just do it from the heart, man. Over. Yeah.
Overall influence of this generation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Brands are real now. Like, these are commodities, and these are in-house things. These are toys now. Like, these are under the category of things that are like household items now. Video games were first like a niche thing, getting them into the homes. We kind of saw the first forte of that in the last few generations. Mm-hmm. And even the NES is still like eking its way in. If you had a console, it was kind of more rare, I'd say, than not. Now it's huge. It's everywhere. You're seeing Mario's fucking face everywhere. You're seeing like media everywhere about this. Having a console is just a huge thing. Playing together with your friends, like in the basement, like it's just elevated. It's elevated a whole nother notch. The big takeaway, I think, is that gaming is here to stay, and Nintendo revolutionized it to the point that the boundaries are pushed to the utmost. We saw 100% of the potential from this generation. I don't think this generation lacked at all. We saw every drop of potential from it, especially the Super 100%. Nintendo in my mind, 100%. And some of these games, like you're saying, like Shining Force and like Link to the Past, I'm like, these are like perfect games. Like, even if some parts are like frustrating and hard, like they're perfect for the time. Like, to have this game made then and not now is crazy. I can see an indie game called A Link to the Past coming out today, and I play it and I'd be like, this game is fucking awesome. The story is sick, dude. And look at these mechanics. Like, this is awesome. It feels like, this awesome adventure game. Like, I would be happy if that came out and looked exactly like it did today. You know what I mean? Like, that's how good these games are. They almost all hold up. Yeah. So the king reigns supreme, and we see that video games have a massive future and only up from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can we beat this generation? That's the question for the future, I say. Yeah.
I don't think we can, to be honest.
But we can. I think the closest we've come is now. actually current generation. I think,
Maybe
which
I
is
would say the
crazy.
PS2 generation comes close, but I think you're right. But
Yeah, it's close. Everything is close though across the board. Yeah. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, 300 cents.
Zach, what's your opinion of the overall influence of this generation?
I mean, mostly echoing what Josh said, but I'm thinking a little more critically about it. 6 Mega Man games were dropped on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
They were shitting out games.
I could be wrong. I'm not going to fact check myself on this, but that might be the most in any one established franchise on that console.
That's a lot
in that generation. 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of nuts.
But each one of them, they were basically all the same thing.
Yeah.
You saw Mega Man 7 appear on the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Now you've got a much clearer picture of who
Yes.
all players are. You're getting dialogue. You're getting more characters, more information, a story. Like
characters looked real. Like not like they looked pixely, but you had characters now, images, faces, everything was doable now.
And then you move the next drop is Mega Man X, and you're like
insane,
huge, and it's actually a different game.
Yeah,
like when Josh finished playing Mega Man X, he was like, "Oh, I want to play more Mega Man." And we're like,
"I still have it."
It's the next best.
I played the best first for some reason.
There's some really good games in the X series, but
I'll keep going.
Yeah,
but like the original Mega Man games are just hard. That's all they are. I've beaten Mega Man 2 5 or 6 times. I haven't beaten any of the other ones.
Damn.
That's a nerd confession right there. I've beaten on Nintendo, on the NES. I've beaten Mega Man 2. That's it, and I beat it on my phone. Like I did not beat it on the console. The Super Nintendo and the Genesis both gave us very comfortable, very user-friendly controls that just worked. You plug it in and it worked. There was no discrepancy between your mind and the game.
Yeah. Also, there was already no loadings, but like the games run so fucking smooth.
Yeah.
Like it's just like like you said, turn it on. As soon as you see the logo, that's the most you're gonna wait, and that's it. Everything else is a start button away. Instant gratification.
We talked about how the Nintendo Entertainment System era saved gaming. It saved video games. This is the era where we started to see celebrity buy-in and things like that. Like you could get major endorsement stuff going down. You got the Disney games coming out.
Oh yeah.
One of the games that I have in my collection, and it's a long story, not worth telling, is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
That's a valuable game.
I know.
Yeah.
And admittedly the arcade version is much better, but Michael Jackson basically threw up the money for that.
Yeah, that's insane. Like before Nintendo saved it and it was emaciated and a skeleton person feeding it a small amount of food, and they're like, "I'm alive, thank you, Nintendo." And now he's like, he's like fucking doing 100 reps, and he's like, "What's next?"
Yeah,
he's like shooting steroids in his leg at the end of the fucking run.
This is Dave Grohl lying in the backseat of a van in Hollywood, realizing that the band he's with is not going to do it for him, quitting, moving onto Kurt Cobain's floor, and becoming the drummer of Nirvana.
Yep. Oh God.
And then going
this
on
is when greatness achieved.
Frontman of all time.
Yeah.
So for me,
inspiration.
The overall influence of this generation is, I think it's multifold. But like you said, Zach, Nintendo in the 80s, they kind of saved console gaming, especially stateside, with the with the original Nintendo, by basically showing people that home consoles could do more than just ports of like crappy ports, really, of arcade games. And we started to see unique properties and this and that. What the 16-bit generation did was went beyond that and showed us what you could do artistically. with gaming. Like, not only was it more than just a arcade game, now it's an art form. It's a novel. It's an epic fantasy quest.
It's a
beautiful story. You know, it's a beautiful work of art with the pixel art. You know, it became so much more than just a toy or a novelty.
Yep.
And I think that's why this is the greatest gaming generation, is because video games were no longer just like, you know, a silly pastime. They were like a legitimate art form now. And
that's a lifestyle.
And a lifestyle.
Yeah. You could really just sit back, enjoy playing games, and it was like fine to do. Like now they were like seen as like reading a book is similar to playing the Illusion of Gaia. Like you can get a very similar effect. Like,
when I was a kid, before I knew the term RPG, I called RPGs reading games, because to me it was like playing a book.
Yeah,
you know? Exactly. Can you imagine how much reading we did as kids?
Yeah.
How many words I learned
dude,
playing Link to the Past, dude? Insane.
I've talked about this a little bit on my stream. I don't know how much I've talked about it on the podcast, but I'm dyslexic. And I had a very, very hard time learning to read as a child. But what compelled me to get past those hurdles was Zelda. You know, like I wanted to play my Zelda game on my Game Boy and finish it and understand everything and that whole thing. And that really, really compelled me to get over those hurdles that I was having as a young kid reading. And, you know, other RPGs did the same. I'm super grateful to gaming for that, you know.
One of the things that sort of convinced my mom that games were, you know, not as bad as she thought.
Yeah.
The Sonic tie-in comic books that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't allowed to have a Genesis of my own. She knew I was playing it at my friend's, and she was never happy about that until I brought it home, and I was like, Mom, this is a comic book too.
Yeah.
Can I read Sonic at least? Like, can I understand what this character's all about? And she was much more about that than she was. This was after the great comic book debate of 4th grade.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for another day. Yeah, she let me start buying those comic books, and if it weren't for video games, I wouldn't even know that those comics existed. I might not be the comic nerd that I am today.
You might not, but I bet you would.
Any closing statements, guys, before we wrap it up on
some of these games,
the greatest gaming generation?
Some of these games are so amazing. I play them today.
Oh yeah,
they are
my favorite fantastic.
Games. When I think of what games are like amazing to play, like just in a quick moment, like the Super Nintendo is like the first thing I scan with my mind. I'm like, these games are so fun and amazing. They couldn't hold up more. And the Switch reinvented it, put the Genesis and the Super back on the Switch online. Like, damn, what a gift.
Yeah.
Truly amazing, I think. Yeah, those are great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. It's for everyone to play again. It's great. Greatest generation.
This is the first generation, too, that we have both major consoles on our Switch.
Yeah.
It's true.
It just occurred to me, like, we have a full generation worth of games on a modern generation console.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
well, except for all the other ones.
Well, sure, but they're there. Like these are the games that I'm going to introduce my child to.
Yeah, I'm going to be like Donkey Kong first.
These are the ones that, like, I go over to my sisters and hang out with my nieces. I want to play Super Mario World with them.
Yes.
Bowser's Fury a little while ago. I'm like, this is all this stuff that we're playing right now. All this information that you're processing right now comes from this. And I fired up Super Mario World, and they won't stop playing it.
Yes. Well, it's incredible. That's amazing. She's like, I can't fall in this one. Side scrolling. I loved that when I was a kid about side scrollers. Also, you can only fall in a hole. You know, you can't like fall. There's no like 3-dimensional like. Yeah, I was very aware of that. I was like, this is really nice, side to side.
Well, I think that sums it up, guys. That was really fun.
Longest podcast ever.
Best podcast ever. I don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun. If you guys are watching this live right now, you're watching it on my channel. I stream video games on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then also on Saturdays I do Samurai Saturday. It's always going to be a samurai or samurai adjacent game. And then, of course, we're here for the podcast on Sunday nights. If you're watching this on YouTube, please share it. Share it with everyone.
Always pretend you like us.
Everyone that loves video games. And if you want to yell at me on Twitter, you can hit me up at Ryugami-sama. And that's where you can find me. Josh, where can we find you, my guy?
I am Lord Yeshua, and you can find me at said channel at Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on other socials like the Instagrams and bullshit like that. Yeah, find me beating the world record for Donkey Kong, and I don't know, I might stream Kirby when it comes out. I might take a big break.
Yeah, you should.
Kirby looks so fucking fun.
Yeah,
it could also be one of those games that just feels really good to play alone, also. But it could be one of those games that's really fun to play on stream because it's so probably casual. You know what I mean? That's my thought, is that it's not going to be like take any thought to play. So yeah, very excited. Find me there doing nothing.
Cool. Zach.
I'm Zach. I'm on Twitch at Another Letdown. I'll be live on Wednesday night, 6:00 Eastern time for Zach Sucks at Games. I'm playing Spider-Man for PS5. I'm almost done with it, so maybe we'll finish up the main story this week. Probably not. I think there's a little bit more than 2 hours worth of content left, but we'll see. Sometimes or every other Friday we do Tabletop Simulator board games. This is an off week though, so we'll not be live on Friday. Saturday I do miniatures painting with my friends Mike and Adam. Adam is Paul's brother, and I'm working on a bunch of X-Men, and they're coming out really cool. So,
cool.
So I'll be there. And you can find me on Twitter at DENONCZD.
Yep. Perfect. If you just joined us today, all those links are in the chat right now. Don't forget to join the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. And have a great night. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.